Just to be clear, many Jewish people internationally stand firmly on the side of human rights and freedom against this savagery in Gaza, and have been out on their streets in unprecedented numbers stating that very clearly. For more than 100 days, the people of Gaza have endured a humanitarian horror of unimaginable scale, a genocide broadcast to the world in real time, inflicted upon an impoverished refugee population by the apartheid Israeli regime that is hell-bent on erasing the Palestinian nation from the face of the earth. This is not conjecture. The Israeli government has not attempted to hide its objective. In fact, it has repeatedly, brazenly, and to devastating effect told and demonstrated to the world its aim: to slaughter the Palestinian people, to crush any chance of a free Palestinian state, to dismantle any hope of a two-state solution as mandated by UN resolution. As recently as the weekend, Mr. Netanyahu stated his vision very plainly. He said, "I will not compromise on full Israeli security control over all the territory west of Jordan, and this is contrary," he stated, "to a Palestinian state." And it's right that his comments have been resoundingly condemned, for these are not the words of a person even contemplating the notion of peace. These are the words of a man following a dehumanising, supremacist and frankly deranged vision. Before the eyes of the world, Netanyahu is determined to continue a genocidal campaign in Gaza. It is a relentless, barbaric assault that has seen more than 25,000 Palestinians slaughtered, including, as you have said, Taoiseach, thousands of women and children. The Israeli military is killing 250 Palestinians every day. Entire families and communities wiped out, 1.9 million people displaced. Gaza's civilian infrastructure obliterated, with schools and hospitals decimated by a ferocious military bombardment. The people of Gaza face starvation and the catastrophic spread of disease. These actions are not defensive. These actions are war crimes. We see that the intensity of this bombardment continues mercilessly with the ongoing assault on the city of Khan Yunis, where it again attacks and lays siege to hospitals who are treating injured, sick and dying people. The people of Gaza are a people threatened with annihilation. That is the situation, and it is to the very great shame of the international community that this atrocity is happening in full sight. Israel has been given free rein to commit its war crimes against the Palestinian people with impunity. And as the demand from ordinary people for a full and immediate ceasefire reverberates all across the globe, the Israeli regime thumbs its nose, continues its mass slaughter in Gaza. Why is that? Well, it's because the weak response of world leaders has told Mr. Netanyahu and his government and his military machine that they are untouchable, that they can shred international law without fear and without consequence. Taoiseach, you were billing this motion as a motion demanding a ceasefire. But the word ceasefire doesn't appear in your motion. Where is it? Instead, it says an immediate stop to the death and destruction in Gaza. But why the semantics? Why can't you just say ceasefire? An immediate and full ceasefire is what's needed, and that is the call that the government should make, and that is the call that should be contained in your motion. Israel must stop its massacre in Gaza, and there can be absolutely no equivocation on this matter. What you do describe in your motion is mass slaughter, the deliberate destruction of civilian infrastructure, the displacement of millions, starvation, the destruction of hospitals and schools. You describe the very markers of genocidal actions, a blatant attempt to wipe out Palestinians, seize Gaza and enforce a second Nakba. The question of the need for sanctions against the State of Israel is now answered without a shadow of a doubt. They must be sanctioned. Yet in this motion, government proposes to drive sanctions against illegal settlers alone. You seek to differentiate Israel from illegal settlements. Have we slipped into some alternative universe? These illegal, violent settlers who attack and displace Palestinians are armed, supported and enabled by the Israeli state. It's state policy. They are part of Israel's colonial strategy to annex Palestinian lands, and the accountable party is the State of Israel. They act still under cover of impunity, and despite all of your rhetoric to the contrary, you demonstrate in your motion no seriousness about sanctioning illegal actions and breaches of international law. Tánaiste, that Netanyahu is telling the world explicitly what his aims are, and I think you need to listen to him. You need to listen to what he is telling you, and then there needs to be an appropriate, proportionate and definitive response. And can I say to you that we are all conversant with the processes of the International Court of Justice, and we know the steps that must be followed to initiate a case in The Hague, to establish jurisdiction and the grounds for dispute. You've seen the endless footage of Israel's atrocities in Gaza. You've heard reams of heart-wrenching testimonies of doctors and international aid workers on the ground. And in the midst of undeniable genocidal actions, these steps should be urgently engaged by the government. If the case for making a referral to the ICJ against Russia was strong, well then the case for making one in respect of Israeli aggression is absolutely beyond dispute. I think South Africa has shown what it means to lead. They've demonstrated what it means to stand for humanity against genocide. And I think it's disgraceful that the Irish government would still equivocate, still hedge your bets. You fail in your motion to make absolutely clear that Ireland will support South Africa's case in The Hague. And I think that a very great shame. And let's be clear, there's nothing stopping you from bringing that type of clarity to the Dáil today. And if you did, or if you do, you will have, I believe, the full support of this House. The truth is, Tánaiste, that you say you will consider joining South Africa's case after the preliminary stages. And you say that as if the people of Gaza have all the time in the world, as if the abyss of genocide isn't a reality every day for the men, women and children of Gaza as we speak. Gaza that has become the graveyard for children, for families, for people clinging to life and clinging to their very existence. Cathaoirleach, if this isn't enough for the government to stand up and take a case against Israel and join with South Africa in the International Court of Justice, then what will it take? When will it be? Because the people of Gaza are running out of time, and Ireland needs to act and be clear. Act and be clear now.